Welcome on my first step ever. When we started this podcast, my aim was always to bring forth behind the scenes of people's journey who have made it into their life, whatever they dreamt of, whatever their goals were, they achieved, and whatever success looked like for them. But whenever we hear about someone's success, it is always once they have made it, and we have no clue what really went behind that journey. And oh boy, let me tell you, the journey is very, very challenging, and it is the key to their success. So, if you are somewhere in that journey that you're yet not able to kind of make it, or you're yet not, you have not reached that stage, let me tell you, this phase that you are in, that's the most beautiful phase, because once you go through your own journey, you embrace your journey, you have that conviction and belief in yourself, you will turn out to be a beautiful and amazing person who can also handle the success that's definitely going to come ahead, but also make an impact along with that success. And an testament to this particular story is our one of the most amazing and esteemed guest speaker today, whom when I share his journey and he shares his journey today on this podcast, you will definitely see that why you are unique and why you have the power to change your story. So to help us do that today, please join your hands in welcoming someone really, really amazing, inspiring, and a very, very, I would say, a jovial personality. The little bit of interaction I've had with him right now, please welcome on my first step ever virtual studio Shrenik Shah. Shrenik, welcome on my first step ever.
Thank you, Sunny. It's lovely. I must admire your energy, enthusiasm, and the way you started this flow. Saluting your dedication, and thank you so much for inviting me to this. I would say enriching conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people, or rather, I would say, I will be able to touch lots of people's mind, heart, and gut through today's podcast.
That's absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for that lovely, lovely compliment. For all my listeners and people who are watching today, or people who are just listening, I would like to say it is definitely not an AI who's sitting over here, and he's more creative. He's more real and human than AI. And in the age of AI, I would say he would stand out with that amazing voice. We will come to know who is this amazing person. Let me begin by saying that I have the honor of welcoming an extraordinary human being whose story will move you, challenge you, and inspire you to see life from a whole new lens. At 73, that's right, at 73, Mr. Shrenik Shah is in his 28th year of what he calls his life 2.0. And he is a 5x TEDx speaker, global influencer, international leadership coach, patient ambassador, advocate, and the moderator of his widely loved series, Fridays with Shrenik. Now, there's a lot in store for us over here, and he is an amazing speaker. Look at the body of work he has. What makes his journey remarkable is that he has done all of this without vocal cords for the past 24 years. 27 years, sorry, I'll add 3 more years to that. So, this is going to be very amazing. We have a human sitting here with beyond human possibilities. Now, who did this? We will come to know. So, diagnosed with stage 4 vocal cord cancer at the peak of his career, he lost his natural voice but refused to lose his spirit. That we can see and hear right now. With sheer resilience, courage, and determination, he re engineered his life, embraced his mechanical voice, and transformed his disability into his greatest strength. And today, with his amazing confidence that he exudes through his newfound voice, I would just say that he has turned this really grave situation that he must have faced several years ago into something that I'm in awe of today. And his smile is definitely a proof that he has made his 2.0 life a very, very interesting one to kind of talk about. And since then, he has delivered over 9,000 hours of talks across global stages, counseled cancer patients worldwide, been featured at Times Square in New York, and touched more than 100,000 lives with his powerful message of hope and transformation. He believes in turning challenges into opportunities and embodies the I can spirit like no other. His story is a beacon of resilience, reminding us that no matter what life takes away, we can rise again stronger and more powerful. So, if you have not yet pressed the subscribe button, like button, do that right now to my first ever podcast, because we have Shrenik Shah who's gonna share a story which an experience with goosebumps as we dive into the life and wisdom of a man who has truly made the impossible.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you so very much. And for your let me come to get you on 190 so and that you at such young age. I admire your enthusiasm, commitment, and everything you are doing. Commendable and all the very best.
Thank you so much, Shrenik. And I think what we and I am going to learn from you today is something way beyond, I think, the normal norms of life, which is the human spirit. And before we begin, I'd like to give a sneak peek about who you are and what this amazing, interesting human that you see and this amazing, exciting AI voice that you hear, what it is all about. So, so I'll just insert the intro and then we'll go on. So, with having a great understanding of who Shenik is now, we are going to go and dive straight away into Shenik's channel. Shenik, we would love to know your journey, your story. So please first take us through that. Where were you born, and what was the kind of mindset of the people that you were surrounded with?
Uh, when uh, born and growing up in the one that is India's first world heritage city, the when Ahmedabad is known as typically as a Gujarati culture, I would say 95-98% speak Gujarati, of course. English, yes, English is also part of the language, but the Gujarati language is very popular, and let me just give you, when I got the last child or youngest from my parents, and I have one two sisters, one elder before me. Say Ahmedabad, as I said earlier, Ahmedabad is known for Gujarati culture background. My childhood, Gujarati language was always one language quite important. That includes schools in English medium. One was Mount Carmel, which was for girls, and another St. Javiers, that was for boys. And I would say 99% of all school students uh, educating in Gujarati medium. And your surprise at why English writing alphabet for the first time in a four-line or in my eighth standard. But I said with the English language like anything. I did my language in English medium. I joined my business. I've been family business where we were manufacturing clothes for different time, etc. And one in a family business, particularly sorry for 14 years. One of the very interesting point I would like you to know is I have traveled by train. I have traveled by train at the age of 20. Yes, at the age of 20 for the first time from the head of Mumbai. So that was the fascinating experience. On the other side of the line, I started my international driving at the age of 35, and between 35 and 45, I traveled globally for more than 100 times. And there were instances, and of course, it was for my international business as a trendsetter and whatever international marketer, etc. And that was for influence South America, South Africa, South Africa, I mean, beyond some of the Asian countries. One very important point, again, I would like to note is uh, the my that one decade of internet third morning, I was morning 7 times. Yes, I was morning 7 times in 30 hours. 7 times in 30 hours. I was morning like 1 month. Was like jumping from Andhra to Delhi to Amsterdam to Brazil, next to Amsterdam, and then to Greece and internal cities. So it was like, I was on a scan running around for business, meeting clients in the airport, in their office, and then, so it was fascinating journey for 10 years. But that was for my life, 1-0. Now, one another important experience I would like to share with you is it was traveling in Europe for 3 weeks. In those days, there was no direct flight from from the one, so from the one. Now, after 3 weeks of travel, I reached the one, and the moment I reached the one, I got a call from my client in US, New York, live Shrenik. I want you to be in my office tomorrow morning. So I traveled yeah, in the morning. I came from the bar the same night. I called and get on another flight from Amsterdam to Sydney to Amsterdam and Amsterdam to New York. And so as I said, the next morning I was in New York. So that is the life I have led so far. And then me here again, I was exclusive. I'm a proud Indian and exclusive sourcing representative for American, Japanese American joint venture in New York, and I have catered the import requirement for 7 years in a row, non-stop. 7 years in a row, non-stop. So that's how. So yeah, but here again, marketing, expertise, marketing experience, marketing exposure, people dealing with the people, across various cultures, understanding. Yeah, I have done so much, and that experience, that exposure, and only must be that to become a public speaker without God. Yes, so that's my.
Thank you so much, Shrenik, taking us through, giving us a sneak peek into your life up until now, from your beginning to all your first, to learning English, to having that curiosity of learning, and then also, having your first experience traveling by train and global stages and the hectic schedule that you had, which also shows that people really wanted you to be there and wanted to hear you. The reason that people wanted to hear you is because your story. So that's what I'm going to break down over here for our listeners, because there are many young listeners over here and many young listeners at heart who are listening to us today. And it is those small moments in our life at various stages and how we felt and how we process that things in our mind helps our listeners and viewers, take away a few things from our conversation and apply in their life. So I'm going to kind of emphasize on certain aspects and stages of your life from where you have what you have shared so far, because I feel there's so much for us to learn from you. And let's just begin from the point where you mentioned that that you had this innate want of learning English and you're starting out kind of late, but you are now an orator, a speaker, and you do that throughout the world and global stages. When you were, wanting to kind of learn English, that the world was changing around you at that point in time. What was the driver? What made you feel that no, even if it's late or even if it's a little later than how people start, I still want to do it? Why did you feel like doing that?
When usually, I am following one single formula. It's never late to start. Absolutely never late. Because, I rather never am not concerned. I never bothered about the past. I always look at what I can do today and what I can do tomorrow. So, analyzing past is out of the question. I mean, I would rather consider this as a waste of time. And the fact is, you cannot change your past, but you can certainly manage present. And when you start managing present, you are simultaneously building future as well. So this is my story, my journey, and yet again, I am following three specific principles. One is courage, second is confidence, and number three is commitment. So these three C's, these three C's, I would say, yeah, are in my DNA, and that's how, you know, uh, how much I have created number of world record despite the loss of my natural voice. And I would say I'm a proud Indian. I'm was saying I'm a proud Indian who has disrupted lifetime disability into exceptional opportunities across global stages, TEDx platforms, and too many international conferences.
And that's a proud moment for us as well, not just Indians. I think, as I mentioned, for every individual to understand and see through their challenges and actually make that their most admired quality, which I can see in your journey. Before we reach that stage in your story, there are certain stages that I would love to touch upon, because that shows us that how you were being shaped as a person. Because what you mentioned over here, you always felt that it's never too late to do anything, learn anything, the kind of the three C's that you follow, which is beautiful. And while you had that mindset from very early on in their life, which I believe is a reflection of the kind of people that you were surrounded with, because that's how we pick things up. And when you entered in your early adulthood, that's the first time you traveled by a train. It's a good first travel experience by on your own, I suppose. How was that? If you can take us through. And with that, I would also like to know, because I think by this age, we have crossed teenage, where we become a bit rebellious. Our minds are fragile. So we do learn a lot. We make our own mistakes. Was there something that you regretted or not? In the sense that you learned, you failed. If you'd like to share with our listeners today.
They may in my life the word regret never exists, never, never, ever, because as I said, I'm following only one guideline, that is with the tension focus mindset, committed to achieve what I am thinking about, whatever is my goal and whatever is my dream. And then so what and fortunately, I mean I must admit that I'm a person kind of robot shooter, joining dots, breaking the cycles, be challenges, be adversities, and I never wait for a while. That means there is nothing like I will do it things tomorrow. Even today you've seen despite so many internet issues, etc. I told you that let's finish this once and for all. I mean, there is no point in keeping things pending because there are too many things to be done in the life, and there is no point in prolonging. So, I mean, unfortunately, troubleshooting is once again in my DNA. And again, I would like to give one example. You might be familiar with the subway where the subway where the light that is was formulated one of my favorite pieces. Now, again, somewhere you like, there are no yes, confidence, commitment, acceptance, troubleshooting, things that everything, spring thousand sauce on top of the delectable yes. So I am following same principles in my life that meditation, perseverance, commitment, performance, deliverable, empathy, compassion, etc. So I am putting up all these steps in my life, in my journey, in my career. Once again, that I am making a Wednesday light, some way Wednesday night of my life.
Love that analogy. And yes, I definitely am a testament to what you just mentioned. We were having a lot of trouble kind of getting this done, but thank you for your persistence and patience that we have got through this stage that we are now able to, uh, I'm able to ask you the questions, be able to hear your journey. So I like to kind of understand, as a young boy, when you set out yourself for the very first time and you were in your first job, how was that experience for you? What were you doing back then?
Uh, I believe, it was much more of getting knowledge, and then making myself with, with the whatever information. And yes, it is that for learning, real learning, making mistakes, getting it modified, corrected, making sure with the same mistakes. So, let me tell you, is that I am 73 now. Yes, I am 73 now, but the topics which we cannot learn from any premier universities across the world. I have learned from the life of my own experiences, from my struggles, challenges, failures, and whatnot. But that was only one commitment. That is, I am not going to give up, and yeah, and whatever in whatever assignment or in whatever business or challenges I am getting into it, I never give 100%. I give 500% because I do not want anything less than 100% for anything I'm jumping in to be in the international business or speaking or counseling, advocacy, coordinating, anything. And to be more precise is like much more of a passion now and then a compression the results at the end of the day. And yet again, whatever I have achieved or whatever I am achieving, I simply forget at the end of the day because I start my day tomorrow with something new, what else I have to achieve. So, that is rather fueling my life, fueling my journey.
There's a lot there to learn from you and understand how to lead life, leaving the past behind, concentrating on the future, and not resting on your laurels. Which because I think you have many under your belt, so that must be a challenge itself. Because at times when you do get success and you keep achieving everything, you feel like, oh, that's a lot that I've done. What's there left for me, going forward? But we can clearly see in your journey that you're not resting. So from there, I would really love to understand, when you were kind of in your, let's say, your you were doing job and you had started out in your late 20s and early 30s. Things were going as usual in your life, you were achieving goals in your career. Would you like to take us through what you were doing around that point in time in your career? Were you an orator back then as well, or were you in an employee? And how has that experience shaped you today?
Uh, well, actually, I mean, it was a family business I was involved into, and as I said earlier, marketing, international marketing, dealing with the people globally, that was my passion, and then convincing the client, convincing the client with a one simple formula that yes, boss, you are right. Yes, boss, you are right. But I have one suggestion for your mind. Something like this happened me. You would be better. Trust me. I am not going to be off. That's how I have been. My image. That's why Shrenik Shah in the business. And believe me, Shrenik clients you are today clients while working with me. So it is all about how much you are, how trustworthy you are, how what and how best you are, what for me to tell the client or to once you follow this, nobody can stop you to achieve your goals or dreams.
I love that, because that's first of all, that is a very, very big takeaway for a lot of our listeners because the marketing technique or the relation building secret that you have shared with us today, it doesn't really just apply in business, but also in life and relations everywhere. So thank you, first of all, for sharing that with us. And it's great to know that your clients still remember you. And the next thing I would love to kind of understand is that, so on my sorry, I just take a pause over here. We just have 10 minutes remaining, but the conversation will not be complete in 10 minutes. So I think we'll have to join back in the next link. But I'll try because I don't want to rush through our conversation. So yeah, I'm going to ask you the next question. So Shrenik, thank you. Yeah, as I said, I mean, it's amazing to kind of understand your mindset and how you work because that's very important. And it just doesn't apply in business, but in life as well. I would love to understand that how did you develop your interest in this particular field and what really kept you going ahead in this field for a long period of time in your life, I suppose.
Uh, I guess keep going like 1-0 or 2-0.
1-0 because I'm not very sure when does your 2-0 starts.
When uh, you know I once again in from university of my mind that your one time when your one time when your one time when you might be having a going on that but unless you don't have a guts how to stand it, then it's not worth. And if you have a gut, if you have a gut of marketing, if you have a gut for selling, you can sell stone as a diamond. Of course, there is no point, in misleading the people, but the idea, the concept is how best you are able to convince your client and that too with a 100% reliability because you cannot afford to lose the customer. You can leave it off customer once, but and then that business end. But then if you want continuous business, you have to be trustworthy, you have to be reliable and everything, and then client will stick to you. So that is the formula I have learned throughout my career, and that's how as I said, I will my image. And one more thing, when I mentioned about putting my image, of course, as a male, I don't need to apply lipstick on my lips, but my image putting I have applied my journey, my career, simply by applying those kind of things only and only through image.
Love it. Thank you so much for taking us really in depth in your thinking process, and I think that is what is the key, that when our listeners and people who are watching us understand, hear, and then they're able to kind of see through that how things really move in life, it really helps us also move in our life ahead because it's all about having conviction in our own journey and learning from people who have done it and how they have done it, because sometimes most of the times you're not born with these skills. You either have to kind of work on it, or you may have a bit of you may be strong in that particular field, but you still need to improve on that. So that clearly shows. So Shrenik, would love to understand, your 1.0 life is, that's what we've been discussing so far. Just before your 2.0 life start, when and how you came to know about the kind of situation that you were about to deal with, your throat cancer, how did that come chance upon you and how did you take it?
Additionally, uh, let me point out one thing categorically that I have never smoked, strict vegetarian, and I have never consumed tobacco in any format. We have never through what was like with its page for Google Podcasts. So, you know, nature voice turned from nature to personal to visual. Then one morning, I started reading. I went to see my physician friend, and he said there is something serious going on. See the cancer surgeon right away, and he took the appointment from his clinic. I went to see the cancer surgeon now. One of the most difficult part of my life in those days, that was in August and September. I mean, same month, August and September 1997. I was beyond, beyond limit. The problem with their restlessness and breathing issue. It was like I was sinking in a in a in a swimming pool, struggling for my survival, struggling to breathe because the cancer was developing on and around my vocal cord, and it was rather blocking the opening of trachea or opening of the windpipe that was making it. I mean, far more. I mean, beyond someone's imagination. The issue, and it was I was feeling like yes, it's going to be all over now. So that was the case. And when my cancer surgeon, when he saw me, definitely examined me, he said, Shrenik, you are into advanced stage of vocal cord cancer. So now I did not ask why I simply asked my cancer doctor what is the solution. That's it. What is the solution? And he said, we will have to I will have to remove your vocal cord and you will not be able to speak for your lifetime. So I said, fine. Tell me when do you want me to get admitted? He said, tomorrow. Fine, I will be there tomorrow. And surgery was done. That was it. One squad because he had to manage COVID and everything. And during the first procedure, he realized that I was into advanced stage of cancer. Perhaps it was not. Entonces, pathological reports were coming after a week's time. So I was remained in hospital for a week. And when the final report came, as I said, it was stage 4. So yeah, I underwent quite with surgery and a long surgery. My vocal cords were removed, and yes, I became voiceless. So that was my journey. And then I was advised radiotherapy. Uh, I studied how to radiotherapy then in Ahmedabad. Uh, I then skiing electro and not into hardcore. But then, in 2 months' time, then ski got on. That, that was another challenge. I mean, someone, and imagine, you want to speak, but the voice cannot come out. What could be catastrophic situation, anger, frustration, depression, fear, and presence. And then when you want to communicate, you have to use pen and paper, and they want it, and the memories, and sometimes they will create in front of you, and then they will answer. Then again, you're right. Again, you're wrong. Again, you're right. So 3 months was would be running quite naturally and would not share and business, and it was quite stopping uh, and so on. But then, see, that was only one catch. That was only one catch. That was only one goal. That one goal. Then yes, I have survived. So as against all goals, no. That was what yes. That was Iman and yes, Iman and yes. That is my survival. And since then, today, yeah, I'm celebrating my 29th year as a straight for Google Podcast Survivor. Shrenik, I can't imagine the situation you were in because even, when we go through kind of a low phase in our life,
even that feels like, the world has ended these days. That's what you feel, that. And this situation that you were in, it was a very, very serious situation. Not having an idea if you would be ever able to speak, you just took the decision because you saw just one positive side of the entire situation, which that you survived. And I think that is a big thing. And when you mentioned about the frustration that you felt for about a couple of months, not being able to speak because you had a good experience of speaking throughout your life for a many number of years, and then suddenly this happening, it's even more painful. So, but from there, Shrenik, how did things turn for you? How did you come across this amazing solution that you have today? What it all took to reach to this place?
Well, uh, it was the one that may profoundly, that may profoundly admit that his voice was rejected in public back in December 1997. Yes, joining joining my two hands and going down. I'm I'm grateful and incredibly, exceptionally grateful to those rejections of my voice. I have experienced, I have witnessed in from public because at at those those rejection never occurred. I would have never been a public speaker who has delivered over 9,000, 10,000 hours of talks, could touch over 100,000 lives globally. And I have countless individuals, well-wishers on my way 360 degrees surrounded by well-wishers all over the world. I hardly met only few people in person, otherwise digitally through social media, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so on. And yeah, of course, during conferences, etc. So, you know, that rejection I have mentioned that I have done one thing like that's a marketing solution. Job all time, by time. Now imagine I lost my voice. That means I lost my voice not temporarily but for the lifetime. That means it is a lifetime catastrophic situation when you cannot speak, when you cannot express a kind of monologuing. If you can say how are you going to earn, how are you going to live the life. And remember when I was diagnosed with the stage 4 vocal cord cancer, I was 44 at the peak of my career. At the peak of my career, and you pretty well know that when you are in marketing, you have to speak, and that speak and event is lost for the lifetime. Now, those rejections I have accepted as a divine intervention. I have embraced those rejections absolutely gracefully. I decided just once again.
No worries.
something to uh, the, okay, so the students are on down. So if you want to be my career, better friend in my career, I accepted those rejections or as a divine intervention, and I rather continue speaking the one way. I just wanted to make sure that I should be audible to the people each other. That's how I continue speaking now for my experience I'd like to share with you in those days that was trained available here in Ahmedabad to teach you how to speak with these words. So for 1 week, I have continually been on it by standing in front of mirror because you know the hearing catches the voice. It has to touch one particular muscle, a particular spot under the chin from you could be precisely properly instantly audible. So I thought my vibrated it for 1 week and then I started speaking in public. That voice was rejected and then I continued speaking. I continued running my business for 30 years, including traveling abroad all alone. Yes, traveling abroad all alone within my speaking things every day, but with this device. So, you know, too many cancer patients, survivors, too many cancer patients, cancer surgeons was always telling them that apart from my wife, I am creating the device because without this device, I am zero cancer speaker. So that's not about beginning of life, we started in December 2027. I delivered my priority for 30 years.
I think one very important lesson that you have shared with us today is, and the most difficult one, because everyone over here loves to be seen, loves to be heard, loves to be understood. That's like the basic need. And as you mentioned, despite rejections, you keep going on. You just went on. And being rejected for the way you look or the way you speak or the way you are, who you are, is a very big letdown to any human being. And I think a lot of listeners who are still glued with us, they can feel that how difficult it is to still keep moving on after being rejected. That is a very big a quality which only happens when you believe in yourself, and you know that what you're doing is right, and whatever anyone says in this world, whatever come may, I will live my life the way I want. But it is not easy to apply this. So although you have shared so much with us about your 3 C's, your life rules, your passion, your commitment, your focus, and your love for speaking, marketing, helping people with through your business, or even in your 2.0 life through your experience with many cancer patient survivors, and even with surgeons, and now to everyone across the globe with your speeches, with your conversations in person or digitally. One thing, if you can share with us as we are coming to close of this particular conversation, and we had the honor of chatting with you for a really long time, because I know you're short of time, you have many commitments. So one thing that really kept you going on even beyond the rejections, because I think that is a worldwide plague or phenomena, if I would like to say. How did you, because obviously one feels bad, how did you work on that feeling?
Uh, it's a share a very important example. You know, we are seeing just break program is a best product. It's false. You never know when algorithms will bounces and that bounces, you never know, and when that bouncer comes, it is coming at the speed of 140. Now what you need? You need to focus your eye on the ball and imagine your MS body. So how meticulously you convert that bouncer into massive six. That's it. That's it. So I mean, challenges are coming without notification. You don't get notification on a smartphone. Okay, yes, challenges are coming. Get ready. No, the challenges are coming like a bouncers. Now you have your head, you have your body, you have your mind, and yes, you don't need you don't need to become an engineer to build bridges between your head, heart, and gut. And the moment you learn how to build bridges between your head, heart, and gut, and then you start playing master strokes. The Amazoni, is known for its helicopter six. So I mean, I would rather consider this as a personal goal. Give me a minute. I'm gonna check my battery 1 second.
Yes.
So important is how meticulously you are playing master strokes in your life, in your professional career, personal career, and so on. That makes commendable difference. And Ishani, that's how despite the loss of my voice, culture contacts were never twice without spending single penny. I got Guinness World Record certificate once. Uh, delivered more than 10,000 hours of talks. 6. TEDx talks. I'm the first speaker on TEDx on that platform, having delivered 6 TEDx talks. One of my talks recognized among top 10. Imagine among top 10 in the world. Josh Talks. They said so many things. And yes, I mean, very recently, I was invited to deliver a talk at Games Planning, which is a record since inception of aims in 1960. In last 65 years, for the very first time, our code CancerSurvivor was invited to deliver talk and so on. And then here again, I delivered talks across 10 medical colleges. India's number one, India's number one top management school, and too many international conferences, podcasts, things like that. Look, I am, am I have no reason to mention what I have achieved. I am here only to let you know why I have achieved, because I mean achievement is not not important. How you like the data, that is important.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, it is not just about the achievements, but what led you to achieve that. It's what you are kind of sharing with us today, and that's what we have delved deep into, today. Initially I felt that, sorry, yeah. Initially I felt that, that once someone comes across a really difficult situation in life. Sorry, just give me a moment. I have a background noise. All right. So I think what I wanted to say is that I felt that, when someone really comes across a really life threatening or life changing situation, that's when, they are able to pull across all the courage, peep in them and see that what they are made up of and how they can, pull through. But what I noticed in your journey is that it's because who you were before that situation, the commitment that you had, the mindset that you had, the laser focus that you had, that person that you were before the situation turned for you, it's because that you survived even better. You thrived in that situation even better. It's because of who you were before that. So thank you so much, Shenik, today for being on this podcast. And we know that how we have come through the end of this podcast. We tried meeting last time. For everyone who's listening to us, how we have been able to deliver this conversation to you. It's been over multiple times trying to connect network failures, suggestions, and but Shenek's persistence of not giving up and just being able to, somehow in the best way conclude the situation. So thank you so much, Shenek, for being on this podcast. And that is Shenek's book, and it says Shahin Shah. You would like to Shahin Shah. Okay. You would like to say something about that, Sherik?
Yes, uh, actually, I got one friend in that is also cancer survivor. That was in 2019 or something like that. So he was aware on my journey and what I'm going to go currently. I'm a vision, vision ambassador of Indian Cancer Society that they coordinated live webinar that is academic of Fridays, which running every alternate Fridays. So where is now coming to my book names Shrenik Shah. So one my morning I got a call from my friend in Delhi that somebody is interested in writing your biography. Now when I have rather no vision or rather no thought and for no time to write biography myself. So I said why not? And that's how you know I got gone with the judge with the that young author on them we talked for about 40 minutes also gone. He said at the end of the conversation I cannot resist to write your biography. Then fine. So then I listened to some questions. I don't remember how many. But then your mind what we just with what the questions and then we go on the journey to summarize answer all these questions in 3 days. 3 days I answer all questions, all the questions. Then I mean everything things that I will search for 5 hours. And then I want to make sure that that you're not getting critical and so any part as a pleasure of my life and career. And then the manuscript was edited and sent with manuscript. The most challenging part came to me from other subjects. This and books and just cannot enter the reader. And so since I'm a common man and I am not accomplish anything and this writer is really not what I'm doing it and then he said yeah sir said either we have worked for 45 years. I mean, implementing everything manuscript to everything and these are the absurd. So either you accept this title censure or I am quitting. I'm not going to publish the biography. I have not that choice because we have worked so hard and then another friend then again again this was the a divine signal that he has suggested this. I mean, normally whatever this suggestion is other way around. That okay, you have to suggest okay, I want this particular title, right? But instead he has suggested which I rejected and then finally accepted. So that is the life all about it not COVID time. So we could not manage official launch in auditorium. So we did only uh, regional launch. And that's it. So that is all about things in my life.
This is an incredible story, Shrenik, and thank you so much. But yes, that title definitely suits you for sure. Definitely, I love that. I think it could always be kind of upgraded into writing Shah by Shrenik Shah. So you have your name also, and who you stand for also as Shah. So thank you so much, Shrenik, for being on my first step ever podcast today. It has been a pleasure, and I have loved your spirit and your voice as well. And I know everyone who's listening to us has definitely gone beyond just thinking that, what they can do rather than who they can become and what their human spirit can help them become. So before we take your leave, I would love to ask you if you can leave our listeners with a quote or a saying that you really resonate with.
It's all about your attitude. It's all about your attitude, who you are, what you are. You know, it's all it's a fast-paced digital competitive world. Unless don't become exerting from ordinary, nobody is going to witness you because everybody is having their own challenges or dreams or goals, etc. And it's particularly fast digital will over time for you. So unless you don't slow down, examine and imagine, and yet again, I am abundantly blessed by Lord Sri Krishna. I am a Prabhu speaker. The name of my mother is Shada Miss Ma Saraswati. I never prepare myself for the given talk or God. You are giving presentation of interviews whatsoever. So I'm blessed by my mom and Lord Sri Krishna. But that's it. So, you need to have to define earlier your seeds. Now I would like to share with you five things and one seed being five images. One was clear, one was bright, but your purpose, passion, perseverance, performance, and conviction. See means conviction. If you manage all these five things, and blend it with conviction. Believe me, you are or you can be on top of the world. You could be unstoppable, and that's what life is all about. Use your life, use your life intelligently. Live in the moment. We are say at that we are using smartphones. We are not becoming smart ourselves. So it's time to become smart ourselves, just like a smartphone. Because what just with one flip, you can do 100 things. Same with the same formula applies in our life as well.
Love that. Amazing. Those are the five golden rules. And we end on such a good note as we started on a great note and we do it on a very good note. For everyone who is interested to get to know more about Shrenik or you want to collaborate or you want to get in touch, I will definitely leave a link in the show notes below. And I know that even just for following his journey will give you so much of inspiration and a takeaway in many ways. So thank you, Shrenik, for being on the first step ever. And as I always say to my listeners,
Uh, Today, each and two things I would like to mention here. First of all, I want to dedicate my today's podcast to every single caregiver on this planet. Every single caregiver on this planet. Without them, the life of any survivor is incomplete. So That is the best, I would say, giving back to the society or to the community or humanity. That's number one. Number two, one more example I would like to mention. That is one of a big, a very big platform, digital platform and blog that is on Go, Onco Daily, OMCO, Onco means cancer, and Daily means they are posting articles on their blog every day. They got more than 55,000 followers, 55,000 followers, and when they can get journey, they are repeatedly featuring my LinkedIn post on their blog. I am not a cancer specialist. I am an ordinary cancer survivor, not speaker. Right? I have transformed my speaking ability into the opportunity as a speaker itself. And they are featuring my journey on their blog continually. You will find this on a Onco Daily blog. Thank you so much.
Lovely. And I will leave the link for that as well in our show notes. So definitely check that out. You'll get to know more about Shrenik. And to all my listeners out there, I just like to say that thank you so much for being glued up until now. And as I always say, start believing in yourself and keep believing in yourself. We see you next time. Thank you, Shrenik. You have really, really added so much to our conversation and to this platform and to everyone who's listening to us today.
Thank you, Sunny. And you are indeed a commendable facilitator, moderator of the podcast, or rather, I would say podcast host. Thank you.
Please do give ratings and please do write your comments. And you can directly reach out to me on my first step ever underscore IN. That's my Instagram handle. A little about myself. I have always loved performing on stage, acting, speaking, and just emoting myself. So I use these mediums different ways so that I can connect with people, help them, empower them, infotain them, which is to inform them and entertain them. If you would like to collaborate for any opportunities, more than welcome to connect with me on my Instagram handle. Thank you.